Okay, so now we're getting into the musical performance part of our show. We're going to start out with Royal Ezenwa. He is a Nigerian Afro-fusion artist that's based here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Everybody go check out his new single, Every Day. It's blowing up like crazy on Spotify. Let's have to go to the moon. I remember my first encounter with Royal. It was at a Burna Boy show, and I'm going to tell you, that was an extreme world-lit experience. I mean, Africa was heavy in the building, and Burna Boy had come all the way to Charlotte from Nigeria to perform, and it was so world-lit because so much of one continent was in the building in Charlotte, North Carolina. Royal and his team actually performed that night, so that's where I got exposed to the music, and so I've just kind of been following his music ever since, so I'm excited that we're able to collaborate on this today. Before, early on, when I was talking about Boy Turner, who's actually on the ground in Nigeria, and I'm dealing with the whole SARS issue, SARS movement, Royal here in Charlotte is actually quite active. But now we're going to get into Royal's segment.
Hey, what's going on? It's Royal Ezenwa. Big shout out to World Lit. Let's go. I think World Lit is a great concept. People who are indigenous to the States, you know what I'm saying, they appreciate our culture. I mean, what other way to give them that appreciation than to give it to them raw, you know what I'm saying, by bringing our own foods, our own music, you know what I'm saying, to bring it literally, transplant it from there. Yeah. I'm originally from Oka, Anambra State, Nigeria. I came here in 1994 with my family. But I grew up more so in the university area / North Charlotte. I've been in Charlotte ever since we came to the States. Growing up, being a Nigerian kid in America was a struggle. Got picked on a lot, from the way I dressed to the way I look. And just trying to adjust to a new country was quite difficult, quite different. Even when I came in when I was like 4-ish, 5-ish, I got picked on a lot. Being Nigerian was actually something that I was more so. It wasn't that I was ashamed of it, you know, but it wasn't cool to be like foreign. When I told people I was African, I got called names, African booty scratcher or whatever you want to call it. Even when I came at a young age, I still felt like I'm not African enough, if that makes sense. But on the flip side, you know, I grew up here, so it's like I'm not American enough. So I feel like I'm in this, whatever you want to call it, you know what I'm saying? And that has kind of added to my frustration and added to, you know, trying to figure out like my identity as who I am. But just getting older, at the end of the day, I'm Nigerian, period. I was raised in and with the culture, and I just think to be me. As far as what brought me to where I am now and what kind of grandfathered my sound, a lot of people don't realize this, but I actually used to do Christian hip-hop type of music. That's where I started. That's where I kind of got my feet wet as far as recording, engineering, mastering, all of that. African music was definitely a big part of my upbringing. When I was younger, growing up in a single-parent household, big shout-out to my mom and my dad. I grew up with my mom, though. She was very, embedded in the faith. We're Christians. So she definitely passed that on to us. So we did hear a lot of Christian hymns growing up. A lot of African gospel / Christian music, going to church twice a week, going to the store, playing African music. So African music was definitely a big part of my upbringing. But when we first came to the States, General Chinedu's family was one of the first families that really took us in and pretty much point us in the right direction, you know what I'm saying? So from a young age, I just saw him as my blood, as my cousin. He's actually the person that kind of got me into Afrobeats. One time came where I felt like he was telling me, yo, tap in with the culture. I think you should do Afrobeats. We did one track, me and him, and it took off. And I felt like, yo, like, this is it. Afrobeats been out for a while, but I feel like within the last 5 years or so, I can't pinpoint what it was, but it definitely became more internationally recognized, period. A lot of people don't realize, period, but Afrobeats has many branches, many kids. So Fela Kuti created Afrobeats without the S, right? And then it came down and started having children as we know it, from Afrobeats with the S to Afro pop to Afro dancehall to Afro-fusion. I think Afro-fusion is definitely the sound that I would classify myself in. The thing about Afro-fusion is not just, it's a mixture of different sounds. You'll hear certain cadences of hip-hop, certain cadences of dancehall, and you'll have certain cadences of what we know as Afro-beats, Afro-pop. And I feel like me as an artist, I don't want people to limit me or put me in a box as far as what, or the type of sonically what they hear from me. I want the instrument to kind of dictate the type of delivery and the type of concept that I'm bringing to the listener. That's one thing that sets me apart from a lot of Afro artists, that I can literally do several different, I can conform to whatever instrumental or beat that I'm listening to. A couple of things that are unique, I believe, about my Nigerian upbringing. Big shout out to my mom and big shout out to our parents here in Charlotte, Nigerian community who attempted, struggled, carrying small events that we had growing up. We also had periodic African Nigerian parties that we went to on occasions, like all the families in the city came out to, and people get to dance, people get to eat, and just be tapped in to our culture as Nigerians in the diaspora. That was a critical part of who I am today. And if it wasn't for those things, I probably wouldn't be going so hard for my Nigerian ethnicity if it wasn't for what they did. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to my mom and my cousins' mothers and just the whole Nigerian community and their parents for doing what they did to keep that legacy going, to make sure, hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you are Nigerian in the diaspora, but you do have something to pass on to your children. And one of the beautiful things that I've seen in our culture is that we're mad versatile, so we do several things. Also, I'm a registered nurse. A lot of people probably have no idea, but that gives me the fun sheen to put into my music. My job, I love nursing, but it is something I use to fuel my passion, which is music. Big shout out to my mom, my parents, and the Nigerian community here in Charlotte. My mother's response to me grinding so hard at music is kind of interesting. Just like any other African parent, she wasn't feeling it at all. Even now, she's just like, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's something that I love doing. I see a lot of potential in and with it. I just feel like if you believe it's something, you're gonna do anything to make it happen. My music is for people in the diaspora, people who love to dance, people who just love good energy, good quality music. Because of the many types of sounds that I offer to people, they're bound to find something that you like. The Afrobeats, Afro-fusion has definitely been elevating, finally getting the recognition that I feel like it deserves. Afrobeats has been out for a while, but I feel like within the last 5 years, I can't pinpoint what it was, but it definitely became more internationally recognized. I think it's like a beautiful thing, especially the trendsetters, the David O's, the Juan Nicole's, the Wiz Kids, Peruzzi's, Tubabas, Two-Face. Big shout out to Fela Kuti, the originator of Afrobeats as we know it. So it's been a beautiful thing to really see the genre really become more diverse. See it being played in clubs overseas, in the UK, Australia, Europe. So I feel like Afrobeats and the Afro-fusion right now is like a balloon of water filling up, and it's about to explode, and everybody about to get wet. African music was definitely a big part of my upbringing, but it was a little bit, if you want to hear something that catches my sound or catch the direction that I'm going into, I think that every day will be a perfect record for you to see that.
She said she want boss like me. She said they never talk like me. No anyhow somebody. She said she want come body. She said she want boss like me. No anyhow somebody. She said she want come body. She said she want someone make her come body, make her come body, big body, make her come body. Come on, mommy, make her come body, make her dance for you, make her come body, wait for you, make her come body, make her come body, make her dance for you. Come on, mommy, baby, lady, your body so crazy.
You know, say you be winner. I go love you forever. For my heart, you be sender. Give you the love, it gon' end. I be the one to remember. No go far, you know never.
Body, go, body, make her go, body, big body, make her go, body. Come on, mommy, make her come, body, make her dance for you, make her come, body, wait for you, make her come, body, make her come, body, make her dance for you. Come on, mommy.
Oh, rock, pok, Prince of Anambra. Hey, all the guasha, the kakporoko. Ebelebe. No be shere kabia, wodogu. This one mad.
See me focus all the day, what the money day. I no get time to waste for the money play. I see so plenty rain, now it's sunny day. So we celebrating life like a holiday. I was fighting every day at the army. See hunger death for my blood, I was starving. God with the center, see they cool my temper. Don't your enemies, return them back to sender. Them dogs send me resemble Jidena. I know who I be, baby, I know be pretender. See we go be together, you go be my Angelina. And I no go carry last, cause I know that I'm a winner. Them dogs send me resemble Jidena. I know who I be, baby, I know be pretender. See we go be together, you go be my Angelina. And I no go carry last, cause I know that I'm a winner. She said she want boss like me. She said they never talk like me. No anyhow somebody. She said she want come body. She said she want boss like me. No anyhow somebody. She said she want come body. She said she want someone make her go body, make her go body, big
person where we are the crown and they call the king. Prince of Anambra. Omoba. Every day. You already know.
People want something different. Big shout out to hip hop and everybody doing what they do. But people, people want diversity. And I feel DJs and radio stations have that responsibility to expose and bring that out. I think that people are ready for that new sound. And I believe that radio DJs need to check more for Afrobeats, like for real. Do I feel like Charlotte radio stations are right and ready for the song? They better be. You run the radio to run things that, songs that people want to listen to or even break developing artists or local talent. It's so many dope. You got Rayma, you got Tiwa Savage, you got, of course, you got the WizKids and David O's, the Burna Boy, Mr. Easy, Coffee. You got all these dope artists. I think DJs need to do their research, you know what I'm saying? Because there's so much dope music. You got DJ Spin-On. There's so much dope artists out there, and I feel like, we just gotta do more research, yeah? Definitely believe that World Lit is important. Big shout out to Brandi from World Lit for doing what she's doing, because I feel like it's gonna continue to grow. It's gonna continue to grow, and people are really gonna appreciate the brand and what it is that she's trying to do, exposing other cultures, especially here in the city, that otherwise you probably have no idea even existed.
Stop texting me every month. See the shine in my chest. Me and you know the same. Almost stay in your lane. I bring you life to the body and you bring the land. I don't say it's the same, but we know no cap, cause we know they play. But see as I be when I did at your place. She clapping like thunder while I'm in your race. She on my baby, oh, she on my shaku, she on my. I did for you, what she on my. Mama, she on my, she on my. General vibe with the higher. What a wine, yeah, too fine. So cool, shocky, it'll make you mine. One wish, yeah, I'm a genie. You want who got you like a genie. Fast, see me a genie. Me she, that girl, just believe me. When I keep boys take you around the city to walk wide in African cities. She on my baby, oh, she on my shaku, she on my.